and Perrick. It's January 6th. I figured I'd do one of these videos of a white guy wearing sunglasses talking to himself in the car that I hear so many people doing. So today what we're doing for the off season, for cold weather, for Minnesota, for something where it seems like, you know, we need something to rank. We need tiny little things that people can get into arguments about. I'm going to present something that I feel there is no argument on. The best cookie. Not chocolate chip cookie, not whatever. The best cookie in the metropolitan area of Minneapolis St. Paul. Number one with a bullet. Let's get into it. So I have here the chocolate chip cookie from Bread and Chocolate here in St. Paul, Minnesota. I'm right outside it. Anybody who walks by here is going to see me talking to myself like a lunatic. I have some rough criteria here that I said I was going to grade it on, written on the back of a great receipt from Tom's Tailors, favorite of J.C. Dillahunty and Ross Stedman and well-dressed people everywhere. If you need it fixed, go to Tom's. Anyway, why am I eating this cookie? Let's start with that. There's two reasons. First reason, I gave blood today. That's what this is. I was at the Red Cross, donating my O negative, trying to save kids with cancer. No big deal. It's just something that I like to do as a Highland Cup champion to give back to my community. But the bigger reason that I'm doing this is because I am focused pretty exclusively on a list and a Reddit post that I believe Bob shared it. There was a ranking of 68 cookies. Imagine 68 different cookies. We're talking about cookies from supermarkets. We're talking about cookies from bakeries, cookies from restaurants, 3 cookies from gas stations somehow. But the oldest bakery still working in St. Paul, right here, award-winning, they got a mention in the graphic. They did not appear on the tiers. And when asked late in the comments, beneath a bunch of comments about the Woolette's Bakery cookie, which is dry as hell. It's dry as, I was going to say dry as a nun. That's a little sexist. Anyway, not a good cookie, doesn't deserve to be ranked. Shout out to Mason, for watching, for commenting. Anyway, so I wanted to set the record straight. This is the best. I'm going to tell you why. So we're going to start with the first thing on my list here, construction. Let's unbag it, huh? All right, let's see. What do we have? They give you the paper that it comes in, so that's nice. Then your fingers don't get all chocolatey. But basically what we're talking about here, look at this. Look at this effing cookie. Perfect thickness, not too thick, not too thin. I don't like those towering half moon bakery cookies. They never preserve well. You got to eat those when they're red hot or they're no good. Conversely, I don't like the cookies that crinkle up like a Nature Valley granola bar. I think those aren't very good either. They're just not super fun to eat. They're good for a bite, maybe 2, and then it's all crumbs all the way down. Yeah, I agree, Eric. Too thin, just not good. If you're saying this one's too thin, I got news for you. You're wrong. This is roughly the thickness of your iPhone, maybe a little more with where some of these chips are. And again, that's the next thing on my list. Check out the chips. Look at that chocolate. Giant chocolate. We're not using cheap chocolate. We're not using tiny little chips. We've got really, really, really good chocolate in here. I asked what kind of chocolate it was at the counter. The gal looked at me like I was on drugs. Seeing myself on here, I don't think I'm on drugs, at least any drugs that aren't available over the counter. So the next test, I'm going to try and do this one-handed because I'm holding the phone. We're going to try and do a snap test. I want to see if we can hear this. So I'm going to just shut up for a second. Oh, did we hear that crumble? Did we hear that little crumble? Crispy edge, soft middle. All right. Crispy edge, soft middle. Perfect. A perfect combo of both. Again, nothing against really crunchy cookies. Nothing against soft cookies. Because, you want to underbake them a little bit. You want to have that center be soft. But I want it to be enjoyable. So, just the right balance for me. Now what we're going to try it. The next comments are all subjective, so here we go. God, unbelievable. Unbelievable. All right, my next criteria is sweet or salty. This is a little bit of both. I would argue more on the sweet side. Not every cookie needs to be salty, but it's perfect. Like, it's exactly what you want in a chocolate chip cookie. There is a tiny, and I mean tiny dash of sea salt on the top. It's lovely. It's just enough to provide a little bit of counterbalance to the dark chocolate, the milk chocolate, the brown butter that they have, and the mix. You know, plenty of sugar. So it's too much crunch. You guys are morons. You guys are morons. The outer edges are crunchy. That's for structural integrity. Go ahead and cancel me. Go ahead and get off. I don't need that. Next criteria, temperature. This is served warm, not hot. Note that the chocolate is not melting, all right? It's not room temp, so the chocolate is like, it's soft. I can squash it between my fingers. It's not spilling on my jacket. It's not dripping into my beard. It's just right, okay? It's just as these cookies are meant to be served. Now, let's talk about cost. This cookie is $2.75. That's not cheap. I get that. Let's do some comparison shopping, okay? If you go to the Holiday in my neighborhood, their chocolate chip cookie is $1.99. That's cheaper, but you get what you pay for. Would you pay another 75 cents for what is a much, much, much better cookie? I would say every day the answer is yes. If you go up the street to Kowalski's Bakery, their chocolate chip cookie is $3. So this is a quarter less for a much, much better cookie. 100%. It's this every time, game over. So because this is a golf-related YouTube channel, wanted to compare this a little bit to a couple golf things. The golf shot that this reminds me of, a perfectly flushed 7-iron right at the flag. It is, oh man, it's not necessarily like the fanciest thing. It's not even the hardest thing to pull off. Again, chocolate chip cookies aren't rocket science, but when you do it, it's a rare bird. You just love it. Eric, that is the dumbest thing you've said to me today. This cookie is not mediocre. This is unbelievable. I'm going to bring some of these to league. You guys will all, you'll eat your words or you'll eat my cookies. I don't know what it is. So anyway, it reminds me of a flush 7-iron going straight at the pin. The golf hole that this reminds me of, it reminds me of 16 at Augusta. Again, that's easy to say because a lot of people are like 16 at Augusta is one of the most famous things of all time. How often do you think about 16 at Augusta? Like, you know, it's there. It's in your mind. It's probably not the one you're always picturing. Like, you're thinking about 18. You're thinking about 15 or 13 making eagles. You're thinking about other holes and other golf courses that you've played. You're thinking about stuff on TV. The Masters comes around once a year. And then when it shows up, you're like, oh my God, yes, this is amazing. Why don't I have this all the time? That's what this cookie is. That's exactly what this cookie is. Why does anybody else even bother to make chocolate chip cookies if this is what we have? So now we're going to get to the ranking. So we're going to do it out of 10 golf balls. I have it written down here just so you can all show that I'm not making this up out of thin air after reading my own comments. I know it's backwards. 9.5 out of 10. Why 9.5 after all my highfalutin and ranking and just talking good things about it? What's the biggest room in the world? Room for improvement. Okay? I want to see if there's a better cookie in the Metro. We have approximately 13 weeks till our golf regular season begins. That gives me time to try 13 other cookies. So in the comments, in the chat, please go ahead and put the name of any other cookies you recommend that I try. I've got a lot of time this off season, and I feel like I can pull this off. So we're just going to call it Cookie Mondays. We're going to think about a different way to brand it, but this is the first one. I came at the king. It did not miss. I honestly can't see any other cookies dethroning it. But let's see what happens this off season. So yeah, thanks for watching. Thanks for watching a guy rant in his car for 10 minutes about something that really people don't need to be upset about. Again, I feel like those videos are super popular on YouTube. So thanks again for watching.